I just walked out of a film called The Imitation Game that was probably one of the most inspiring, moving, and just beautiful, true stories that I've ever heard. About a person who literally saved millions of people's lives and then was pretty much destroyed for being who he was. And I'm just walking home thinking about how lucky we are to live in a world, especially here in San Francisco, where you can really be who you are. As weird as you are, as normal as you are, whatever that means, as this or that as you are. And I'm thinking about this idea of not taking life for granted. I was talking with a friend yesterday about how often we take for granted things that we have until we lose them, and then suddenly we often appreciate them so much more. I know I do that. It has me thinking about this time about 2 years ago that I almost went blind. I thought I went blind when I accidentally put hydrogen peroxide in my eye, thinking that it was contact solution. And for a good 20 minutes, I couldn't see anything. I panicked, I fell to the floor, I cried, I tried to put, water in my eye. And while I thought that I might potentially be going blind, my whole life sort of flashed between my eyes, and I was so scared, and I just started imagining what would life be like if I couldn't see anymore. As a photographer, my whole experience is always through visuals. As an artist, I'm always seeing the world around me and taking it in, and all I kept thinking was, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to have this experience anymore. And when my eyesight started coming back, I remember walking out that evening into the streets of San Francisco, and it was raining, and I was just feeling the water on my skin and watching the raindrops on the leaves, and it just seemed like the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I know it seemed more beautiful because I had thought just moments before that I'd never be able to see again. And it reminded me again to not take my sight for granted. And I'm thinking about that today, about not taking anything for granted. My sight, the ability to hear, to taste, to touch, to feel, to live. And when I walk out of a movie like this and I see what human beings are capable of, and think about all the things I have in my life that I'm grateful for, that I don't want to take for granted, I just remind myself and want to put this little reminder out into the universe to really look around you and see all the things that you have. Because it's so easy to forget what we have and focus on what we lack. But I know, as someone who spent a very, very long time in the last year focusing on all the things I was lacking and unable to see what I had, how painful that is, and how that's such a story. And how if you just take a step back, and when I take a step back and I really look at what I do have, all the sparkle, like this tree I'm standing near, but also all the pain and all the challenge, and how that's a beautiful gift as well in its own way, because it teaches me to evolve and grow through it. I've really found gratitude for that, and I hope that perhaps these words might inspire you to look at the things that are difficult in your life and see how they might be an opportunity, because it can be a lot worse. Take care.